If you're not happy with your life, change it.
And how would someone do that?
Focus on what you really want.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can have anything. There are no limitations. The only limitations are what you put upon yourself. So if you decide you want to do something, first you have to know what you want. That's the hard part. People say, I want change, I want something different, but they don't know what they really want. You can't create it until you know what you want.
Right.
Once you know what you want, you can have anything. It's a law of the universe. You go with the laws of the universe. And it's very, very easy to do it once you get how it works.
So we don't know the power of our own mind.
You don't.
And the focused awareness we have in creating reality. And if we did, the whole planet would change.
It would, and that's what this is all about.
Right.
Because in my books they say, you don't know the power of your individual mind. You can focus on peace and harmony, and we could have that.
There are people focusing on peace and harmony,
Yes.
and maybe it is making a difference.
Because there are nexus points.
Mm-hmm.
At the nexus points are events that must happen.
Oh, as
And-
opposed to choices that could or could not happen.
There are some events that
Uh-huh.
have to happen in history. After that, it breaks off into branches of all the probabilities and possibilities that could happen from that result.
Yeah.
These branches are from the worst result to the least. So if you know the path you're going down is going to result in something bad, you choose one of the other paths to go down, and you have that ability to change which one you're going to go with. But this is why you can focus on peace and harmony for the planet. But if one man's mind is that powerful to change the future, imagine the power of group mind. If you get groups of people focusing on peace and harmony, you can create miracles, because the power of group mind is not only multiplied, it's squared. The power is tremendous. People don't realize the power they have with their own mind.
Well, a lot of people now are coming together to meditate together, to focus, to do flash mob demonstrations, which is where people come together. And
This has been going on for 20, 30 years.
but now people are more aware of
I'm
it.
more aware of it because I've been talking about this for 30 years.
Let's talk about those nexus points. Now, what events in history had to happen? And we're also talking about nexus points in people's own personal lives.
Yes, there are.
But in history...
In history, I've written books on this.
Right.
For instance, the atomic bomb was
Yeah.
at one of these. And in one of those other realities, we ended up destroying the universe. Because, you know,
the
with
universe.
the planet, I guess
Okay,
you would say,
okay.
be more, okay. Because when I did a book on this, on Hiroshima, and because when the scientists invented the atomic bomb, they didn't know what they were playing around with. They could have ignited all of the hydrogen atoms in the atmosphere, and we could have blown the planet up. But they said, well, we're just going to find out what happens.
Well, we had some divine intervention with
We
that.
did.
Yeah.
And that's one of the nexus points. We could have blown up the planet.
Would you say JFK, the assassination of JFK, these points that stand out in history that change world history, or is it more subtle than that? I mean, sometimes.
Well, for instance, they said one of the nexus points was the Bay of Pigs, which took place during
Okay.
Kennedy, and that could have turned into World War III on one of the probabilities.
Yeah, it was so close, and because we had some divine intervention in that level, it didn't happen.
No, but see, that shows you how easy it is to shift. This is why you can create your own reality once you know what you want. This is the path I'm going to go down. And you can do it with your mind. You have great power with your mind.
Right, and this is what people can do every moment, every morning in your life. You can set an intention of what's your highest potential
What
today.
you want.
Right.
Once you figure out what you want, I just throw it out to them. Hey guys, this is the next project. Then I sit back and watch the magic.
And it is magic. The power of our minds to create the reality is...
But remember, when you're going to create something, you must see it in your mind. It has to be a reality. If you can see it, it must happen. That's the law of the universe. So you see what it is you want to accomplish in detail. then it becomes a reality. And then don't worry about how it's going to happen. Because if you say, I got to do this and this and this to obtain that, you are limiting the universe.
Right.
Is that the only way it can happen? But if you just say, this is what I want, you focus on the end result. And when you do that, it has to happen as a law. It'll happen in ways that you would never ever have imagined.
And you have to be open to that. If you say, no, I want to have it this way, then you're interfering with
You are limiting
Right.
the universe.
Right.
Because it'll happen in ways that you would never have thought of, ways you couldn't have imagined. And this happens all the time in my life.
Mm.
That's why I said sit back and watch the magic, because they take over and they make it happen.
Your life has been sort of magical, hasn't it?
Well, it's been a long journey.
But you've done some great things. I mean, when you started out, no one believed you. You said you took 8 years to publish your first
9
book.
books, 9 years for the first book.
And then,
Because publishers was way ahead of my time. They didn't understand past lives, didn't understand reincarnation. So it took a long time.
and now the world's caught up with you. And now you're doing some films. People are making movies. But the big thing I think that's happening now is what you're seeing for the future as far as what's called the ascension of the Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk a little bit about this. As the frequencies of the planet change, our bodies changing, what do you see happening? Or you even mentioned, as you mentioned in this book,
The New Earth.
the New Earth and the 3 waves of volunteers for the New
Yeah.
Earth. So talk about this a little.
Because the planet itself, Earth, is a living being.
Mhm.
And it is getting ready to go into its next incarnation. Not getting ready, it's already in the process now.
Does that mean life on Earth is changing when you say it's next incarnation? Isn't it a progression?
Well, I'm talking about the Earth itself
Mhm.
is moving into another dimension, another frequency, another vibration, and it is going into another incarnation. And if we want to go with it, we have to change our vibrations and frequencies to match it.
Right.
Otherwise, we can't go. And frankly, it doesn't care if we go or not, because we're like fleas on a dog.
So we need to. This is Earth. We're walking around inside a piece of Earth.
Mm-hmm.
We need to change the frequencies of these bodies by our thoughts.
Yes.
And so, what do you recommend to people as far as moving with that frequency?
Well, it's such a natural thing. You don't have to do anything.
But you just say get over fear, let go
Yes,
of fear.
the one thing is, fear is only present in this reality here. It doesn't exist in other planets and the rest of the universe. It's a man-made thing. It's a man-made illusion. So if you're trapped in fear, this will hold you to the older, to the negativity. You have to get over fear, start thinking for yourself. And also you have to forgive. You have to get rid of karma if you're going to move into the
Forgive
new earth.
everything, your government, your parents, your religion.
Everything.
And then you're sort of clear and pure inside.
And
And-
then you will move on, because like I said, nothing is impossible.
So will we then join a galactic civilization? Will the ETs become more in the open in the new Earth?
They want us to be a part of the galactic civilization because they figure we will be a great asset. But this is not going to happen anytime soon.
It's
They're
not?
still watching us to see how we're going to develop. They are afraid of us,
Yeah, right.
our
Because
violence, until they have to see what the children are going to do.
So how long will this transition take? We're in it now, and then you think 20 years, 100 years, 200 years?
You can't put a time on it.
Will it be something?
They said it will be in our lifetime.
Well, there you go. And so open contact with ETs will then be a reality because we won't use their technologies to create war because...
Well, remember it goes against the law of non-interference.
Right.
We'd have to get to the point that contact with them would not change anything in our lives and our government. Because we are the grand experiment.
Right, talk about that. The Earth, you said, is being watched by the whole universe because the planet has never made this leap.
It's the first time in the history of the universe that an entire planet has moved into another dimension.
Okay.